Hi, so I am Nirbhay Saxena and I am one of the qualified lead auditor for IATA 16949. So today I am here with my new thought sharing video, and this video is related to the manufacturing risk. So on day-to-day basis, industries are facing lot of challenges with respect to the manufacturing risk. This risk could be related to the man, could be related to the machine, material, methods, measurement, and sometimes environment also. As you know, every organization is having some planning to achieve their productivity. But sometime when plan A fails, then each and every organization needs a plan B so that they can reduce this manufacturing losses or productivity losses. So today my thoughts are related to this manufacturing risk. How we can reduce this manufacturing risk. So we can reduce this manufacturing risk by using the contingency plan. Now, in industry, as I already told you, there are a lot of productivity losses, and these losses because of some breakdowns, and this breakdowns is taking a lot of time, which can create the productivity losses to the organization, and a lot of organizations are suffering from this problem. And the second thing is related to the manpower absenteeism. The third situation could be related to the suppliers, because my organization is not able to get the material from the suppliers in time. That's why we have to change the plan. So this is also one of the situation where the productivity loss is there. The next is related to the skills. So many times people are saying, yes, productivity loss is just because of skills. Because whatever the manpower they are using, they are not properly skilled. So this is also one of the reason for productivity loss. And utility interruptions, which is very common. So sometimes, suppose power is failed, so we use the DG sets, but when we want to use this DG sets, so these DG sets are not ready for the purpose. So this kind of situation creates a lot of problem to the industry with respect to the manufacturing losses or productivity losses. So there are so many factors which can create or which could be responsible for the productivity losses. Now, important is what is the solution for this kind of situation when plan A fails. So for that purpose, we can use the contingency plan. Now, we will understand what is contingency. This is one of the situation which I identify in this particular slide, that for electricity failures, what could be the contingency? So most of the answers are DG set. We can use the DG set when electricity fails. But important is, this contingency is good for the organization or not. So let us understand this contingency. Suppose contingency electricity fails. Now it is important to understand the manufacturing risk, and this manufacturing risk, external or internal. What are the risks if this electricity fails, and how many times we observe that electricity fails? So here we are doing the risk analysis, risk related to the electricity. So when you observe the electricity situation in one of the state, the electricity condition is very good, and this electricity, if you see the track record for this electricity failure, so in last 3 months or last 6 months, there is no situation for the electricity failure. But in this situation, if you identify the contingency DG set, so this DG set will create lot of problem. What could be the problem? This problem could be related to the operational issues, because if the electricity condition is very good, up to 3 months, 6 months, there is no failures. So in that kind of situation, you have to run your DG just to make it in running conditions. And you have to recruit a person for the DG set operations. And one more decision, that decision is you have to arrange few quantity of the diesel. At the same time, because you have decided one wrong contingency, in that kind of situation you have to fulfill the legal requirement also. And you have to keep some spare parts for this DG set. So point is, without identifying the risk related to the electricity, if we took the decision, that decision could be wrong, and this could be a burden to the organization. So it is very important to highlight the risk before proceeding further or before identifying the contingencies. Similarly, in your industries and in lot of industries, we observe that the people are carrying lot of spare part inventories, and this inventories, if you see the status for these inventories they are carrying from the last 3 years, 4 years, and we never use these inventories because we have not identified the proper risk related to that. That's why such kind of inventory can create the losses to the company with respect to the maintenance cost. So if we understand the risk before defining the contingency, so that would help to the organization to avoid the productivity losses and to improve the maintenance cost. Now, important is steps for the contingency plan. So in contingency plan, the first part is, first we have to identify the internal and external risk related to the manufacturing process. Normally, in industry, people are not identifying this external and internal risk. That's why their decision could be a burden to the organization. So if you identify the internal and external risk before proceeding for the contingency plan, then definitely it would help to the organization. The second thing is define contingency plan. So once you identify the risk, so for each and every risk, it is not important to define the contingency. The risk which is critical to the customer or which is critical to the management, only those kind of risk we can define the contingency. So contingency plan could be for key equipment failure, utilities, machines, and related to the suppliers material and related to the men. So if I conclude, so we need to identify this risk related to the men, related to the machine, related to the material, methods, measurement. So we can define the contingency on that. And our automotive quality management system is also talking about the data securities. So in most of the companies, people are having some datas. So cyber security, that is also important aspect to consider in the contingency plan. So if we don't consider that, so that could be a problem for the organization. The third thing is management approval. So whatever the contingency you have defined, so we need the management approval, top management approval, so that they can also understand what are the contingency we have defined and they are approving, so that we can use all those contingency plan during the failures. The next is related to the periodical test. So this is also very important, periodical test. So sometimes what happens, if we define some contingency, for example, there is one organization, so they are having 2 different locations. The one location is in Delhi NCR and something is in Himachal or maybe Uttarakhand. Now they have defined their contingency. Okay, suppose if the key equipment failure will be there, so they can use the other state equipments. But if you see the capacity of that particular plant, so they are not able to supply their material. They cannot produce their material because whatever the schedule they are getting, so capacity is completely filled. So that's why it is very important to test our contingency plan periodically. The next point is contingency plan review, because one time we have defined some contingency, but in day-to-day experience we can understand the contingency plan. Earlier we were importing some spare part from some country, but now that parts that company is very easily available in India and near to your organization. So earlier we were keeping the inventory for maybe for 3 months or maybe 6 months or maybe 1 year. But now it is not important to keep such kind of inventories because that company is very near to your premises. So they can provide the help immediately within 24 hours. So what is the purpose to keep such kind of inventory for 3 months or for 6 months? So that kind of approach can used during the defining the contingency plan. So periodical test is very important. The next is after review we have to document all these contingencies. So this contingency plan will be helpful for each of the process owners. Like HR people can use the contingency plan related to the manpower. Similarly, the purchase people can use this contingency plan for purchase, for external provided products, for outsource process. Similarly, our information technology team can take care about the contingency about the cyber securities. Maintenance team can make the contingency plan for key equipment, utilities, infrastructure, etc. So for each and every process owner, this contingency plan is very important because each and every process have some link with the production process. So that's why it is very important to use this contingency plan. So if you make this contingency plan in right direction, so definitely this contingency plan will be useful for the organization. So that's all from my side. So thank you and thank you very much. If you think this video could be useful for your organization, so you can share this video with your team members, colleagues, and you can share this video with your other friends. So thank you and thank you very much.